Hello and welcome to Addie's chat. My name is Addiola. Most people call me Addie. Thank you for joining me today. You are welcome to Addie's chat. If this is your first time here, please kindly subscribe. I'll just give you a minute to do that. Thank you very much. My chat today is very easy. It's one of the things I'm quite excited about to talk to you about today. It's about budgeting, really. The simplest, absolute simplest way to budget, wherever you are, whoever you are, and wherever you live, really. Absolute simplest way to budget. That's what I'll be talking about today. Thank you for joining me. If that's something that you would like to hear about, stick around. Well, many of us have our views about money and how money should be managed. Some of us think it should be a personal thing. Some of us actually own up to it and take proper financial advice before we, in the way we deal with our money. Some of us think it's something we shouldn't talk to other people about. Some of us are happy to share what's going on about our finances. One of the most important reasons why I started my chat was just to talk about my experiences, my financial experiences, and to share a few things I've learned in the process of just have learned within my financial disaster, really. I will give you just a bit of background into me, into my financial disaster, kind of. In 2011, I left a very well-paying job, a really good job, decent salary. My bonus at the end of the year was about 2,500 at that time. I left that job. I'd been there 5 years in 2011. I left that job, and I had quite a bit of savings. I was going to buy a house at the time. I took all the savings and I went abroad, and I didn't come back with any. I went abroad for 5 months, didn't come back with any money. Everything went down the drain, really. So from that salary, I went to a zero income, just literally within a year. Went to zero income, lost all my savings as well within that 1 year. This was 2012. I was expecting a baby at that time as well. So just a quick summary. I had a baby on the way. I had no job, lost all my savings. All I had was my family, really, and I had to start all over again. So this I really did have quite a few tough years. Quite a few tough years I had, and a few things I learned in those years have actually inspired me to start up this chat. To start talking about things that maybe some people might not necessarily want to talk about, or things that if people do it a certain way, it would just be better, really. So today is really a sit-down chat and just telling you the practical things. What I'm going to talk about today is something that I have used and I am continuing to use. It's just, this is just my own personal opinion, really, that I'm sharing here, and just hoping that it would help somebody else out there. I'm not a financial advisor by any means. I have worked in, my background is actually banking. I have a bit of knowledge about these things, and recently I have been in a financial capability role as well. So, but I'm not a financial advisor. Everything I do say is up to you. Actually, do your research and find out if it's something that it would work for you. But this budgeting, what I'm going to talk about today, this budgeting tool is actually really not complicated. It's the easiest, really. Anywhere you live, wherever you are, I believe that this budgeting tool should actually work for you. But then again, I will come on to people who have no income. It might be quite different, a little bit different for people who have no income. So the budgeting rule I'm going to talk about is the 70% rule. This is one of the simplest budgeting rules I've ever found out about. I have been using this budgeting rule when I was in employment and I had a full-time job. I've used this rule. When I didn't have an income, I did try to use this rule as well. So there are things that you can adapt this rule to actually yourself. So it's it's called the 70% rule. Yes. So let's get right into it. So what's the 70% really? 70%, the 70% really is about 70% of your income. 70% of your income, yes. So for the purposes of income, really, most people would normally say that their income is, for instance, when you get a new job, when you're told, for instance, you will be earning in a year 35,000 per annum. Most people would say that is their income. First, that's not your income. Actually, your income actually is the money that gets paid into your bank account when your tax has been deducted, when your national insurance has been deducted, your pension, all of the deductions. What you see in your bank statement, really, that is what your income is. This is important for people to know. Your income is what you see on your bank statement, what comes in literally into your bank account. Not because we all have figures that we're given as our annual salary, but that's not really what we earn. So what comes into your bank account, that's what your income is. So on that income, I am today talking about 70% of that income, of what comes into the bank account. 70% of that, that's what this rule is about. So in this rule, 70% of that really is what you should be living within. You should try and live within 70% of what comes into your bank account. So we'll say spending, living, spending, and spending. My writing is quite terrible, but yeah. So living and spending, it should be 70%. If you want to be on, if you want to avoid financial disasters and want to be on your road to financial freedom, you have to work hard at living within 70% of your income, really. And I know that a lot of people will say that's impossible. Yes, sometimes it might feel that it's impossible, especially if you haven't got any income at all. Then what you need to work on, if you haven't got any income at all, is how to get the income. And to be honest, I would not sit here and say that I have all my life lived within 70% of my income. No, I have had. Again, remember that when I refer to income, I am talking about the money that's really paid into your bank account, not the money that's on your pay slip or on your employment contract. I'm talking about the money that goes into your bank account. So if you put 70% of it on your living and your spending, whatever that is, we'll come to that in a minute, then 20% of it actually has to go towards savings. Excuse the writing, but I hope you can see 20% of it has to go towards savings. And for me, what I do is this 20% is then divided into two. So I've got the emergency, so I'm just going to put E on that one, and I've got the instant. So I've got the emergency and I've got the instant. For the 20%, it's got to be divided into two. So 10% of it is emergency funds, which you should ideally keep in an account where you don't have easy access to it, and then just keep it somewhere where you can forget about it completely. So it will be easier to do this if you have a standing order set up for this to go out every month from your bank account to that emergency account. So a 10% from that 20% goes into the emergency. Then the instant savings, a 10% goes into there. So these are for things that would come up that have not been budgeted for in the 70%. So this will be anything that comes up all of a sudden that you have to pay for, which is a bit out of the ordinary. You should, in this 70%, have a bit of disposable as well, to spend on things that come up. But actually, this other 10% will be things that can just spring up in a month or in a year, that you can. But sometimes you don't. There's so many months we've been in this pandemic. Really, this 10% will not be utilized a lot, to be honest, because so many people are not doing much in terms of anything really. So this 10% should be still safe for so many people in this pandemic. But if you don't do this, this is what I do anyway, so that's why I'm talking about it. So again, the last 10% is quite personal. This is my own personal personal thing, and it's up to you what you do really. You could do something else with this 10%. So the last 10% for me, I am a tie much in supporting churches, it's and missionaries and things like that. So 10% of this goes towards that, and towards charity as well. I believe so much that a percentage of my income every month should go towards charity as well. There should be something. If I cannot physically go out there and support people, I should be able to give a percentage to charity. I should be able to point to 1 or 2 people that I have supported in the month. This is what I do really. You don't have to do that. This 10% for some people could go towards maybe their pension, or could go towards maybe a really nice holiday that you want to go to. So anyway, that is my own personal role really. So we've got the 70, which is your living and spending, and we've got the 20, which is your savings. We've got emergency and instant access savings, and then we've got the 10%, which is for me the 70% rule. This is what it's about really. Other things that you need to be these are some of the things that would be included in that 70%. These are some of the things that you'll be spending on in that 70%. So I've put home there, which is really is your rent. That's the biggest bill that most people will pay, your rent or your mortgage. So that's home. I put children there, so the essentials for the children, or if you're paying for any special clubs for them, that's there. That's food. That's one big chunk for most families as well. The gas and electric, really, to be honest, after the gas and electric, the council tax should come there because it's a priority bill. So council tax, you've got your phone, your broadband, your credit card, your car. There's so many other things that so many people would put in this category. What I want to say about this, all this spending, all this on this list, is that each one of them really has to have a budget. There has to be a budget on each one of them. I know that it's easier for some than others, like the home, for instance. You know how much the rent is, and you can stay within that. One other thing actually is the insurance. Really, insurance. You know how much your rent is, and most people will stay within that rent really, because if your rent is a certain amount, it won't just increase drastically. They would give you a few months notice, or actually a year's notice before they increase it. So gas and electric, most people, this is one of the big ones that I would tell people about. For the gas and electric and bills, people should really shop around. There's so many times that you can save. There's so many times I've seen where people can actually save money on their gas and electric, but because they haven't looked around, they seem to be paying a bit more than they should be paying. The same thing with your mobile phone, your broadband. If you've had a mobile phone for a while, you can certainly call them and say to them, well, is it time to come out of this contract? Because sometimes we've been in contracts for a long time. Most people that are on contracts is about 24 months now for the mobile phone. So people have been on it for such a long time, they don't even have a clue when they're meant to come off it. So sometimes it's just ringing them up, finding out what's this contract about really, when is it ending, what do I get in it, can I get something cheaper? So these are major things that I did really. What I did was I kind of cut off my contract. I didn't take any contract for about 3 years. I didn't sign up to any contract. They were not doing any credit checks. I was still credit worthy, to be honest. For even 3 years after I didn't have any income. I didn't have an income for 5 years. I was credit worthy for good 3 years, where I could have taken out things, but I didn't take out anything because it was just not the best thing for me. I will be deceiving myself or letting myself down massively if I had to take out anything. So what I did with my phone bill was I kind of called them up and I said that I wasn't interested in a contract again, and I wanted to do a mobile phone, just a SIM only deal. And luckily for me, my phone, it was an iPhone. I've always had an iPhone really. It was an iPhone, and it was at the time where they could discuss a change of contract, and they were happy to let me have, at that time, I think it was £6 or something ridiculous like that. This was this 2013 or 14, something like that, yeah. So I I had just a SIM only contract, and I had my iPhone. I used Wi-Fi from wherever I was going to. There was Wi-Fi everywhere, pretty much, really. So I was using Wi-Fi anywhere I got to, and the minutes were not bad. I was just not calling people on normal phone, and I was calling people on WhatsApp, and that's to yes. So that's the simplest that I know, the simplest budgeting method, really, is use a 70% rule, really. And I would talk again a little bit about people who have no income at this time. So if you've got no income at this time and you're thinking that you haven't actually or even within your income, you actually you feel a bit stretched out, that you cannot even do the 70%. Yes, I put my hands up and say there were times a few years ago I couldn't do the 70%. I did it a while back, but then I couldn't do it for a few years because I was just not getting the income. There was a time I didn't even have any income, so I couldn't do it. So I would just say to you is now try. What you need to do is now look for the income. Try and get yourself the income. There's so many ways out there now. It's we're really blessed to be in this generation. One of the things that I remember vividly that I did back in 2013 was I started like an eBay account in 2013, and this might be helpful for someone, maybe not for so many people. I started an eBay account and I started to sell things online. And for the first 1 year, I would it was a tiny bit of it was a trickle, really. It was just things like £10 a week I would get, but it was still something. It was better than having nothing at all. But I early on I cracked onto something which was I started looking at magazines, and there were especially from is it Zara and H&M. They would actually have some items up, not in the sale, items some dresses out, but there were limited number of these dresses, and before people got to the store or got online, they were sold out. And these were dresses that people were really interested in, or jumpsuits. There were so many items like that, but H&M is very well known for that. They would just produce an item, not a lot of it, but then they would advertise it a lot, and everyone would be looking for it. So I jumped on that really early in my eBay days. I jumped on that, and if there was something in the magazines, to be honest, I went to the library to check these magazines. I wasn't paying for the magazines at that time as well. So anyway, I would go to the library, look through the magazines. There was another coffee place I would normally go to as well. They had all these lovely magazines. Look through them, look online, see what's happening out there, really. So if there was a particular item that was in demand, I would buy it early. Just like sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work. I have to be honest. I will buy it early, just like everyone else that's looking for that item, and then I'll resell on eBay at the time that the item is not in stock anymore. Some of these items would cost about, maybe I remember some dresses from H&M, probably some of them about £30 or 34.99, and I would resell them for about £60, £80. On Zara, there will be dresses I'll buy for £80, sell them for about £150, £120. So they were very good deals. People wanted them. As long as somebody wants something, they would pay the price for it. Sometimes it didn't quite work that way. Sometimes I had to sell it for just £5 more, but more times than not, it worked out well for me. So that was a really good thing to do at that time. So there's so many things out there. If you haven't got an income, you just have to be creative. You just have to think about things really a little bit more. As I said, we're really blessed to be in this generation. This is a generation where you don't have to leave your house, and you can literally get paid not leaving your house. There's so many things out there. Another thing could be maybe somebody needs to refresh their CV, and maybe you just need to polish up that CV. You just need to, yes, maybe that's what someone needs to do today. Somebody else maybe that has a proposal, maybe you just need to write that proposal. You need to email it to the person. Somebody else, you have you've typed that letter, you have written everything that you want to write, but you haven't sent that email. You just need to. You'll be letting yourself down if you don't try. At least if you try and you get a negative response, you can get feedback and work on yourself for the next one. You just need to try it. You just need to do it. So I think that's the thing for this year. We need to do it really. The same thing with this budgeting that I have been talking about, the 70% rule. It would be a push for a lot of people, but we can try and do it. You just need to be determined to do it. It will be a stretch, a good stretch, and I know that from experience. It will be a good stretch for a lot of people, but we just need to try and make that stretch, make that push for ourselves, so that we can have much more comfortable years ahead. But yeah, so that's what my chat is about today. Thank you if you have watched so far. Thank you very much. If you would like to share with friends, with family, please share with anybody, everybody really. In fact, share with everybody. Subscribe, like, and comment, and I hope to see you in the next chat. Thank you. Bye.